All right, family. It is a Tuesday, 14th day of December. Community Conversations for Team and Joe. We both live in two different cities, but we do have the same issues. And man, it is the holiday season. But brother Fatim, I was planning on having a different type show tonight.
Hmm.
We were actually going to just do the happy holidays and tell a lot of folks that we were going to take a break into the new year. But situations and circumstances made it that this show is a very serious show tonight. And we're
Yes,
going to have to
sir.
get into some deep conversation. So before I go any further, yours truly, Joe Dupree, 100 BLK, the Black Station. You can check us out at www.the100blk.com. And my brother from another mother in New York City, now down in South Carolina, but still representing WBLS 107.5 FM in New York City. Brother Fatim, what's going on, my brother?
What's going on, Joe? I'm headed back up to New York in a couple of days. Got to take care of some business, man. And you're right. At times, things drop in our lap where we're looking to do one thing. And that's the good thing about doing live podcasts is that things can drop in our lap and we're ready to go. And I must say, you assembled a large and a nice group of guests for tonight. So let's jump right on in and let's make it happen, man. Let's go.
So, so family, tonight's one of those nights. That's all I can say. As I begin to share this with folks, I infer as people come on, you share this with a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend. Tonight, we're going to have the ugly conversation about racism. I'm going to ask the question I ask many a time when I'm on here: is justice just us? And when I say just us, is the scales of justice not balanced? We're going to have a conversation tonight over something that had occurred um, actually in the city that I'm in right now, Lafayette, Louisiana. And the best thing I think I need to do for team is get into exactly what is going on and what got us here.
Right.
So what I'm going to do is the following. I'm going to bring in this piece of audio and video as they see on the screen here that is actually going to let people know what we're going to be talking about tonight. So I'm going to play this probably a couple of times tonight, but let me play this the first time and let everybody hear what's really
I
going on.
think you need to put your disclaimer out there first.
Yeah, you're right. So family, tonight one of the subjects is going to be the N word, and the N word not being used in a gratifying way, which I don't think there is a gratifying way you can use the N word, but we do know amongst folks of color, sometimes we do use that word as a word of endearment. But this is the straight up slave master N word coming out. You're going to hear the slave master N word. We're going to talk about the slave master N word. We're going to talk about those who, when they use that word, it literally makes individuals that they're talking about to them come across as people who are subhuman, people who are not at the same level that they're at, people that they can treat in a manner that is not humane, because all of a sudden use a nigga.
That's it.
This ain't going to be a lovey-dovey type conversation. It's where we're going to have to really get into some real conversations. And those who know me, know my history in media, know that I really have a problem with this. It's one of the reasons I got out of mainstream media, because a man who was not the same color I was called me a monkey. And let me say this. To me, anytime you call somebody out their name and you mean it in a derogatory way, and it's a way that you're saying you're less than I am, you's a prejudiced dude and you need help. And that should not be tolerated by anyone in any shape, any form, or any fashion. But let's get to this, because this is why we're here. And you're going to hear some very graphic language. You'll probably hear some very graphic language, not only from myself, but from people who are coming on to speak about this. And we're going to get some legal aspects from this also. So let's just get into it. Here is the video that we're going to be talking about tonight, right here. Here's the audio and the video.
I don't hear the audio. Do you hear the audio, Joe?
So that's the video,
We didn't.
family.
I didn't hear the audio.
You didn't hear the audio?
Nope.
You didn't hear the audio?
Nope.
Oh, you didn't hear the audio. Nobody heard the audio.
I don't
Wait a
think
minute.
so.
Oh, that's why. Wait a minute.
Gotta
Let me
share
play it
screen.
again. I'm glad you told me that. See there?
Mhm.
Because guess what? Now let's do it. We saw the video. Now let's hear the audio.
Look,
Now,
why are the
there's
lights?
audio.
When I pull up in the whip, they be saying, "God damn!"
Why are your lights on? They're like, pull up, pull up.
And mom's yelling, "Nigger, nigger!"
Oh, Henry, have a nigger. It's a nigger. Like a roach.
Look, that's me.
No, that's
I came from the backside.
Look, he trips over the
He trips twice. He trips twice.
I was the only one running.
That's me. Kenny was standing. I'm the one that took him down. Kenny's just standing there.
He lied. That was his wallet.
Yeah. That's my phone where it fell out.
Look, Mom. The dude had a phone on him. He should have taken his phone and stolen from him, that fucking asshole.
And now I'm going to grab a gun.
Oh, get the gun.
It's important. Very important.
As me and Austin maintain control of the situation.
The great thing is we've got video. We've got look, they're with the car. Wait, look, there's
And look, here comes
there's
Rebel.
Rebel. What a playing fetch. Rebel was supposed to let this was
So now you've heard the audio and the video. You've seen the audio along with the video. And let me move over here. Bring me and Fatima into the picture. You may ask, what was that? That was an individual who was caught trying to break into an individual's car at a local judge's abode, home. First of all, let me say this. I don't condone anyone doing anything illegal in any shape, form, or fashion. Stealing, breaking into people's property. I don't condone that in any shape, form, or fashion. However, the language that you heard that was being used in this video to come from this sitting city judge's household is concerning. And we've got to start being real and having real conversations about what is being said when we're not around. So with that being said, let me slowly but surely start bringing some folks in here. First person I'm going to bring in and ask his opinion about what was played and what was said is Ravis Martinez. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ravis Martinez, how you doing, Ravis?
Hey, how's it going, Joe? How's it going, brother Fatima?
Hey, brother Ravis. Happy holidays to you.
Hey, happy holidays to you guys also.
Thank you.
So we're here and we're on and we're having conversation. You're a citizen of Lafayette Parish. I'm just going to break off Ravis and say, from your perspective, how did you feel about what you heard, what you saw with this video?
Well, first, I guess when I first saw the video, Joe, I can honestly say that I just felt exhausted. I mean, I just feel that, you know, as a community, locally and also nationally, we as African Americans have been dealing with so much trauma, so much dysfunction, and these are things that are aimed at toward us. This action by the city court judge, the casual use of language, derogatory racist language, the comparison to a roach, which was ultimately definitely a different type of response, is actually just one part of it for me. You know, you would assume, or I would assume that, once that was made public, then hey, there's some attrition and we deal with it. But that wasn't the case. It seemed that the response just magnified this to what we've always seen, right? These same excuses appear when these actions are caught on tape. And so I don't want to monopolize, because Joe, you know me, I'm passionate about these things. So I guess the first thing, I felt exhausted, but more not only angry, knowing the history of how we got here and how we got to this particular judge, but also trusting a process and trusting a system that has always and has traditionally not been trustworthy.
Okay.
But believing in that, Joe.
Okay. With that being said, I'm going to bring somebody else in, because there have been individuals who have asked for this judge to step down.
Yes.
One of those individuals has been the president of the local NAACP. Now, I'm going to bring him in, Mr. Michael Toussaint. Mr. Michael Toussaint, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm fine, Joe, and hello to the panel of colleagues and all. Yeah, Joe. Immediately when I was brought in and saw the video, as Revis stated, I was just, man, appalled, knowing that a city official, a sitting judge, that has the power over a people, especially that sees the African American community and probably more African American than anyone else or any other group of people before her court. That this is the heart, the content, and the character of this individual, and this is her home is an extension of her court, and this is where her heart lies, and for her to for this to come out about this individual says magnitudes about who this individual is and the type of heart that she has, and how can she possibly have any impartiality to the people that she serves, the city that she serves. And this was done in her own home, but like I said, she is an extension. Her home is an extension of her bench, because she carries that with her. You know what I mean? This is something that lies within her heart too. She didn't say, "Oh, look, there's a guy that's trying to break in our vehicle." She used this derogatory term, specifically calling this person this derogatory term, considering him a roach and using the word nigga to describe this individual. I mean, how egregious is that? I mean, what is she saying in the courtroom when she's going to see cases? Well, how many niggas do I have today to come before me? How many roaches do I have today that's going to be coming in my courtroom?
Wow. Now, hold on. Let's bookmark that. Whoa. My head is beginning to itch and hurt, and I know this is going to get deep, but just hold on for a second, family. When I called my good brother, my friend that co-hosts this show with me, Brother Fatim, I was amazed with something that Brother Fatim said to me. Brother Fatim said, "Man, it's been a long time since I had to talk about or address the N-word." Brother Fatim, it is days like today and videos like the video I just played that got broke to the news yesterday. I have got calls from MSNBC, CNN, our good friend April Ryan. I've had the opportunity to reach out with people connected with her. family, racism is still alive. And I posted yesterday, and I meant every bit of what I said yesterday. And I didn't say all, but I did say this. Understand, my brothers and sisters, this is how some of your so-called friends who are Caucasian speak when you're not around.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let me just jump in here real quick.
Come on, brother.
So when I mentioned that to you before, is the whole thing about addressing the N-word, I haven't done it in a long time, is the whole process of us and them, quote unquote, us and them, us black folks using the N-word and white folks using the N-word. And that's why some black folks, a lot of black folks said that we to eliminate this, that we all need to eliminate using this N-word. But that's another conversation for another day. Is this appalling? Yes, it is. Am I surprised? No. And the problem here, and I think our two guests so far that we have brought on, Brother Toussaint and our other brother, both said that, the judge definitely needs to step down. You cannot be in a power position, have that kind of power, and feel that you can do your job fairly. You may think you can, but how does the public and individuals come before your court feel that they are getting a fair trial in front of a judge that used racist terminology and talked about a people, black people, as a roach? I mean, that is kind of as low as it goes. I look at this from there's a lot of angles here, and that's why on our shows and the shows that Joe and myself do elsewhere, this is why we call out what we do to each other, because when these things happen, a lot of folks want to come at, well, you know what? People are using the N-word in the black community. And I have to address that real quick.
Come on, brother.
Brothers and sisters, and I heard Minister Louis Farrakhan say this, you make our job hard.
Come on.
You make our jobs harder to address this when you don't do what needs to be done and disrespect your brothers and sisters when you go out there. And when we're fighting against the N-word or using the word nigger, you're using it in music and other ways. And I don't care what you say, you use it as a term of endearment. This word is not a word of term of endearment. And you know the racist tenure and nature of this word. So brothers and sisters, I'm not saying it's your fault what this judge has done, but what I'm saying to you, my brothers and sisters, let's don't get it twisted tonight, that you brothers out there and sisters that use this word and continue to degrade yourself, calling yourself bitches, hey bitch, and this, that, and the other.
Come on.
You degrade yourself and you make our jobs hard when these things happen and when we have to call this out. Because those on the other side say, well, what this judge said is wrong, but what do y'all say to each other? So you make our jobs harder at the end of the day.
Come on.
So we got to look at this from the full circle. You understand? We know where this comes from. We know that racism exists. And when you talk about it and people say, well, we want to take out race out of school and conversation, this proves why we cannot have this taken out of school. And especially CRT, which deals with the legal aspect of race. And if you take that conversation out of the legal institution, these things continue to exist. So
Ring
folks,
the bell.
You gotta wake
Ring
up.
the bell.
Gotta wake up.
Ring the bell. And that's what we're saying. Wake up, family. Wake up. So this involved a city court judge that was elected to office. Her name is Michelle Odinette. So I need to take Brother Toussaint out for a second, and I'm going to only take him out for a second. He'll be back. I'm going to take Brother Ravens out for a second, and I'm going to bring in Dr. Rick Swanson. So Dr. Swanson, the question is because Dr. Swanson, who is a professor of political science at the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, is pretty well knowledgeable with what goes on with the law. There are people asking for her to step down. So what does the statute of the law, because I know you looked this up for me, what does that say about what repercussion the governing body over judges can take when it comes to dealing with her and these comments that were made. Dr. Swanson.
Right. And first, Joe and Brother Patine, let me say thanks for having me on your show. It's always a pleasure and honor. So let me set the stage here. In Louisiana, the Louisiana State Constitution creates a judiciary commission that is in charge of overseeing the conduct of judges and disciplining misconduct. But that same section of the Louisiana Constitution says that the Louisiana Supreme Court gets to make the rules that the Judiciary Commission will enforce. And so you can go to the Louisiana Supreme Court website and read the full code of judicial conduct that the Louisiana Supreme Court has implemented. And one key thing to remember is that under this code of conduct, judges are held to a higher standard than lawyers. And the Louisiana Supreme Court lists what they call canons, which basically mean rules of judicial conduct. And really the issue here is the first two canons. Canon 1 says a judge shall uphold the integrity of the judiciary. And then it goes on to say in Canon 1, a judge, quote, shall personally observe high standards of conduct so that the integrity of the judiciary may be preserved. And then the Supreme Court goes on to say the word shall is intended to impose binding obligations. This is binding law in Louisiana, the violation of which can result in disciplinary action. By the way, the Judiciary Commission is empowered to recommend to the Supreme Court that it censure, suspend with or without salary, remove from office, or retire involuntarily a judge for misconduct. Now, here's, I think, the real key is Canon 2, according to the Louisiana Supreme Court. I think this goes right to the heart of the issue. A judge shall avoid impropriety and the appearance of impropriety in all activities. And notice, all activities means not just when you're sitting in the courtroom, but this is a really high standard of professional and personal conduct that is required by law in Louisiana. And here's what Canon 2 goes on to say. A judge shall act at all times in a manner that promotes public confidence in the integrity and impartiality of the judiciary. As used in this code, and this is again the Louisiana Supreme Court's rule, as used in this code, impartiality or impartial denotes absence of bias or prejudice in favor of or against particular parties or classes of parties. So this is and by the way, her public statement, she basically does not deny that she is the one saying these words in the video, or that was reported in the video that you played, that she was the one who said this. And so if that's the case, she's clearly committed a direct violation of Canon 2 of the Louisiana Code of Judicial Conduct. So she has definitely basically admitted she's violated the Louisiana Code of Judicial Conduct.
Okay, so hold on, Dr. Swanson. I want us to bookmark it right there. I'm going to bring everybody else into the stream. I also see that we have Miss Amy also on. And I want to, once again, for those who may be joining late, play this for everybody where they can hear for themselves what was said, because I don't want you to hear what I'm saying. I want you to hear what was said. So here's the video and the audio from the video that is in question of the offense that was made. And here it goes.
Oh, shit. Mom goes, why are the lights to your
When I
truck
pull
on?"
up in the whip, they be saying, God
Like,
damn.
why are your lights on? They're like, pull up, pull up.
And mom's yelling,
Oh, again, we have a nigger. It's a nigger. Like a roach.
look, that's me.
No, that's
I came from the backside.
And look, he trips over the
He trips twice. He trips twice.
I was the only one running.
That's me. Kenny was standing. I'm the one that took him down. Kenny's just standing there.
He lied. That was his wallet.
Yeah. That's my phone where it fell out.
Look, Mom. The dude had a phone on him. We should have taken his phone and stolen from him, that fucking asshole.
And now I'm going to grab a gun.
Go and get the gun.
It's important. Very important.
As me and Austin maintain control of the situation.
The great thing is we've got video. We've got fuck. Look, they're with the car. Wait, look, there's
And look, here goes
there's
Rebel.
Rebel. What a play bitch. Rebel's supposed to like this.
Oh,
So I lost my co-host. He's back. There he is. And I'm glad that I played that again, because on so many levels, this is so disturbing. First, let's say hello to Amy. Amy, how are you doing? Can you hear us? Amy, are you there? She kind of froze for a minute.
Yeah, we all having that little issue.
Okay. So hopefully Amy will be able to come back. Amy, can you hear us?
There she go. She's muted.
Yeah, unmute yourself, Amy. Hold on.
There we
Unmute
go.
your mic.
There you
Yeah.
go.
I haven't used this platform before.
Okay.
So many platforms, and I haven't had the pleasure of using this one yet.
So Amy, I'm going to put you on the spot off the top, and I hate to do this, but
That's
I'm going to have to. As a Caucasian white woman, hearing what you just heard that we played, which is the video from the Odinette incident with the individual who tried to break into the car and how the family handled it, how do you feel?
I'm just mortified for a number of reasons. I didn't grow up here in Louisiana originally, but I've been here 26 years. I spent a lot of time in Houston, though, in my youth, and I feel like that's sort of the melting pot of the South, right? So I had a lot of friends of color, and I can tell you we didn't use this term in my home. And so when I heard that term being used so freely, with both the mom and the children, I knew right away that was a home that term is used in with regularity. Yeah. And that bothered me because it just bothers me. I don't use that word. My parents don't use that word. My son doesn't use that word. My husband doesn't use that word. No one that we associate with uses that word in their home or anywhere else. The other thing that bothered me immediately was that this woman is a judge and she sits on a bench where she is tasked with being impartial to all of the people that come in front of her. And that is terrifying to me. That is just terrifying.
Wow. Wow.
I think Amy just nailed it. She nailed it.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody's nailed it. Everybody
right on the head.
Yeah.
So family, let me pull some folks off. I'm going to come back to you, Amy. I'm going to come back to you, Michael. I'm going to come back to you, Dr. Swanson. I'm going to come back to you, Ravis. Fatin.
Yes, sir.
You know, brother, this is hurtful. You know, this is hurtful when I begin to reflect on my parents and my grandparents and how they had to deal with certain things they had to deal with in the Jim Crow South. This is hurtful, man. This is hurtful because once again, justice can't be just us. Mm-hmm. You know, the craziest thing is when I ask myself many a times, Fatin, you know, is justice fair? Is it impartial? It's times like this you ask yourself, she just didn't start feeling like this last night.
No,
this just didn't happen a couple of days ago.
No.
And you know, I'm gonna let you say what you need to say, but you know, we've had the city marshal, we've had a state representative, we've had a state senator, and we've had the mayor president all say that they don't uphold what was said. Some folks are asking her to step down. Some folks are saying she need to be held accountable. I brought Dr. Swanson in, and I hope people go back and listen to this and understand what the statute of the law says can happen. Because once again, the end result of this thing might not make any of us happy.
Right.
However, if anybody votes this person back into office, shame on you. It's on you, Fatin. I got to calm down for a second.
Yeah, I got it. And I thought that this is a great panel because, you know, you have black and you have white on folks that are appalled of this type of behavior at the end of the day. And I think that that's the message that we need to send, because you just said is justice about just us. And when you see something wrong, it should, especially if it's dealing with one group or another group, but especially us black folks, it shouldn't just be us speaking out against it. If it's wrong, it's wrong. If we can cross the lines and say, yo, what you're doing to that individual over there that might not be the same nationality as I am, then it should be reversed. And that's when we are headed in the correct, in the best way of us being better in this society. But when at the end of the day, as you said, Dr. Swanson talked about the code of conduct, these canons, these rules, this judge has to be held accountable on this. And I don't see, she does not need to be on the bench. I can't even see how she can be on the bench. Don't tell me that she can go and take some type of course, this, that, and other, because this is something that has been embedded in her household and in her life for a long period of time. She should not be in a position. That's why we speak out against police brutality. We speak out against the ills that especially we as Black folk in this country go through because of racism. And that's why when, Dr. Swanson was on our show the last time, when we talked about systemic racism, it's so embedded in this country. People are able to put on a false face in front of public.
Come on.
But in their heart and in their mind, they are thinking and feeling something different. And and I think Amy nailed it when she said, this is a judge where you're not supposed to be impartial on anything, especially when it deals with race, because you're dealing with so many folks that are coming in front of you, Black, white, different nationalities, different genders. And if you are caught doing something like this, there's no question that you need to step down or be removed. There's no middle ground on this one.
No,
for me.
no gray area.
So that's why I brought Amy and Dr. Swanson back, because they are the two voices that are on the panel that are non-African American. And this did occur with an African American male. Now, once again, I said at the beginning of the show, I'll say it again. I don't condone anyone, Black, white, green, blue, purple, with antennas on their head, stealing and taking from folk.
Right.
I don't condone that. But how you engage that individual, and we have to really get down to the real talk, because I'm in a business where I see this on a daily basis. So why all of a sudden when we have an individual who's strung out on opioids or dope or any type of substance, and they happen to not be Black, and they do something wrong, it's poor them. Oh my God, look, we've got to get some programming to this person. This person needs help. They're caught up in this terrible system. But all of a sudden, when somebody of color does it, they're an animal. They're subhuman. They're less than. They're a roach. A roach.
Yeah.
I am so upset right now that I really want to say so much, but I have to control myself because, Rick is my brother. Me and Rick, we dine together. Rick can sleep at my house. I can sleep at Rick's house, and I know that Rick would be the first to come and fight for me in this type situation. And damn it, to know that we got somebody on the bench. And hold up, she was the one that got caught. Let's call it what it is. She got caught.
Yep.
There are other folks who are doing the same thing, and they just haven't got caught yet. And I say all the time, we all got secrets until we get caught. So let me calm down. Rick, Amy, I'm going to give y'all the platform. We're going to pull out for a second. What do y'all think need to happen with Judge Odinette?
Well, she needs to resign, clearly. Yeah. And if she doesn't resign, the Louisiana Supreme Court needs to remove her from the bench. By the way, I forgot to add before that anyone can file a complaint against a judge with the Louisiana Judiciary Commission. If you go to their website, which you just look up the Louisiana Judiciary Commission, it's I have the website here, www.judiciarycommissionla.org. And there's a little form you can click on to file a complaint, and it can even be anonymous. And according to news reports, some people have already filed these complaints. But she is, even just as a political scientist, I would say she is unable to perform her duties anymore. Every litigant she ever ruled against who's Black now has the grounds of appeal. There's already, according to news stories, that lawyers representing Black defendants have already filed motions for her to recuse herself because she can't rule impartially. She cannot function as a judge anymore. And so she needs to resign or be removed from the bench.
What about other cases? I'm sorry, we had to jump in about future cases, but what about past cases? Can now lawyers for other folks that have been convicted or sentenced in her court that are of color, can they file motions also to have at least a retrial or a mistrial due to what has been said by this judge, Dr. Swanson?
Yes, absolutely. I would be shocked if there aren't all kinds of appeals that are filed now for past litigants that she's ruled against. And so, like I said, she's called into question every past ruling that where she's ruled against a black defendant. She cannot rule impartially in the future. She's going to have to recuse herself, and if she doesn't, that's grounds for appeal. She literally cannot function with any black litigant at this point. And so, just as a practical matter, she needs to resign or be removed from the bench. And again, apparently there's already been many complaints filed, and anyone who wants to file a complaint based on what's happened can go to the Louisiana Judiciary Commission website and file a complaint, and it can even be anonymous if they want.
Okay, Amy, I'm going to position that question to you. What do you think needs to happen with Judge Odinette?
If she has an ounce of integrity, she will resign without them having to remove her. I can tell you that you can find me easily on Facebook. I have posted this link for the ease of everyone in the state to file a complaint against her, and I urge you to do so. I know for a fact that there were attorneys in our city today filing recusals for their clients, not just their clients of color, but some of their clients, their Caucasian clients, because they felt that if they were filing recusals for their clients of color, that she may be upset about that and take it out on other clients. So I'm unsure of how you would judge a courtroom that is empty anyways. So I'm going to urge everyone to speak up. When we see something like this, we speak up. The bright side here is that this woman has not been sitting on the bench very long, and she hadn't set foot in a courtroom for quite some time before she was elected. So she hasn't been able to do as much damage as maybe some other people could have done.
Okay. I thank you both for your opinion. I'm pulling both of you out for a second. Let me come back into the scene with Brother Fatim. Let me bring in the president, the local president of the NAACP, Brother Toussaint. Let me bring you in. Let me bring in Brother Martinez. Starting with you, Brother Toussaint, what do you think needs to happen with Judge Odinette?
Well, as I'll reiterate, even on what Brother Fatim said, there can be no type of class for her to take, sensitivity class for her to take, because this is embedded in her. And what did Congressman John Lewis say? When you see something, do something. And we have to all do something to let it be known that we will not condone this type of behavior from a judge, a sitting judge, or for anyone for that matter that sits in authority that deals with our people. With our people, haven't we suffered enough for over 400 years of being oppressed and having to deal with this type of rhetoric? To be called a roach, that's even more egregious than being calling a nigger. You know what I'm saying? That, you're being called a roach. I mean, she didn't describe.
Oh, you there? Hold on. Okay. Oh, we lost your. Hold on, Brother Michael. We can't hear you. So hold on. I'm gonna bring Brother Ravis in. Hopefully, I'm gonna pull you out and let you come back, and hopefully you can talk. Brother Ravis, what's your opinion? What should happen to Judge Odinette from your opinion?
Well,
this
Joe,
once again is our opinions.
There's no question that the judge needs to resign from the Lafayette City Court immediately. If she doesn't, this issue on many levels raises a lot of legal challenges, the like, but more importantly, this is a community issue, Joe. And like Dr. Swanson talked about the canons and being able to be impartial, that's gone. But the response so far, in what I've seen, and you've stated this, Joe, from the elected officials that have came out. I think the mayor president also made a statement. The Lafayette mayor president made a statement. The Senator Boudreaux made a statement. Vincent Pierre, the House representative for District 44, made a statement.
Correct.
And other elected officials and previous elected officials also have made statements on the record and have filed the grievances for the commission to take a look at this. I was one of those citizens that filed mine last night. I'll go on the record. I don't need to be anonymous. Like Michael Toussaint stated, when you see something that's damaging, not only to your community, but to your own family. When I heard the video, Joe, and I think Amy, brought this out. When you think about a culture of a family and what you impart on your kids, and to casually speak that way from even the children's perspective, to me was, secondly troublesome, because there was no,
Hesitation.
none at all.
Right.
None
Right.
at all.
Right.
And that bothered me as a father, and that's a different level, right? And as someone that's, worked in the community, go on record again, work to try to get the person that she ran against elected during that campaign season, because that's part of my work, but still trusted the process, right, Joe? Trusted the system.
Understand?
One, let's move forward as a community, and that's what we did. There was no division from that. There was no protest because she won. The community saluted her win, and we trusted that she would be impartial and do her job. And the ability to do that is just gone at this point.
Okay, so let me hold. I got everybody here. Brother Toussaint, can you speak now? I just want to make sure that we got your audio back.
Yeah, Margie kept texting me. I apologize, and I was trying to tell her I was still in the interview with you.
No, that's fine. Listen, so family, I want to bring up a few things. Of course, there's some things that we haven't talked about in this interview. First of all, the statement coming from Judge Odenette, and I want to just take time about that. First thing, and once again, I want to be factual, and I want this to be a space, because this is normally an hour show, but I ain't going to stop this show until I feel like stopping it tonight, because we're going to have to go back into this. Me and Brother Fatima said this, and Brother Fatima has another show he has to get to. And Brother Fatima, if you have to leave, I'll keep everybody else here and I'll keep it going.
No problem.
So Judge Odenette came out and first made the statement that she didn't recall the video. And every time I say the video, there may be some people just coming on going, what in the world are y'all talking about? So if y'all can all just give me a brief moment of silence, let me play this video again that she couldn't recollect, because she still says she does not recollect this video. So this is the video that it brought up all the controversy and has got us to where we're at right now. So here's the video.
Oh, shit. Mom goes, why are the lights to your
When I
truck
pull
on?
up in the whip, they be saying, God
Like,
damn.
why are your lights on? They're like, pull up, pull up.
And mom's yelling, nigger,
No,
nigger.
Henry, have a nigger. It's a nigger. Like a roach.
Look, that's me.
No, that's
I came from the backside.
Look, he trips over the
He tripped. Henry, have a nigger.
I was the only one running.
That's me. Kenny was standing. I'm the one that took him down. Kenny's just standing there.
He lied. That was his wallet.
Yeah. That's my phone where it fell out.
Look, Mom. The dude had a phone on him. They should have taken his phone and stolen from him, that fucking asshole.
And now I'm going to grab a gun.
I won't get the gun.
It's important. Very important.
As me and Austin maintain control of the situation.
The great thing is we've got video. They've got fuck. Look, they're with the car. Wait, look, there's
And look, here comes
there's
Rebel.
Rebel. What a play bet. Rebel was this.
So let me give my disclaimer. I'm not a video expert. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a judge. I heard the language, and I heard the statement that came after the language was said that because I had a sedative, and I was so distraught, I don't recollect even when this video happened and this conversation happened. Okay, If I'm willing to buy that, okay. But now that the video's out and the conversation has been made, you know, I asked myself, because Brother Toussaint brought it up with the roach, you know, roaches, monkeys, anything that dumbs us down as people of color, or make other folks feel like you're not at my level. You're not as human as I am. Because that's how we felt when we hear statements like that. Because I myself have been called a monkey here in Lafayette, Louisiana by a Caucasian person. And anytime you're called something that all of a sudden makes that person feels like I'm superior to you because you're just not at my level. Y'all are racist and you need help. And then you ask yourself why we act sometimes the way we act.
Yep.
Yeah. I sent a message to Judge Onette, correct?
Onette.
So,
How you pronounce her name?
Odinate.
Okay, that's how you
Judge
pronounce
Odinate.
Odinate.
Okay, Judge Onate.
French pronunciation. Yeah.
Okay, so I sent a message to Judge Onate. Since you said in your statement that you do not recollect this video, you know, you playing us for a fool. That's number one. If you don't step down, you will have national folks moving on you to step down. So I advise you to go ahead and step down before this thing goes national, because if you think that you're hearing a buzz about this now, if this gets a national platform, which it's headed to a national platform, because I'm possibly going to step this heat up as of in the morning to put this on a national platform, then you know that may help your recollection of doing what needs to be done.
Right.
Everybody on this,
because you do produce the Al Sharpton show.
I do that.
That's what I thought.
You know. Okay. But at the end of the day, Cedric Richmond is right there in the White House. Mm-hmm. Cedric Richmond is from your area. Mm-hmm. I worked with him doing Hurricane Katrina. There's a lot of folks out there that can make some noise here. So everybody on this panel, and I am very proud and honored. I'm from my heart. I'm very honored to be on this panel with the guests that we have tonight, because everyone is outstanding and we're unified on our message. We're unified, and we don't sound like a puppet. We don't sound like we're mimicking each other. Everyone is bringing something different, but saying the same thing, that this is appalling, that this judge cannot move forward and do her job properly. So she needs to step down. And I just think, this has been a great message. And I just say I keep calling you out, Amy. And the reason why, because you started off by saying that as a person that is Caucasian, you said that you didn't talk this language in your house. You didn't teach it to your children. So it shows that people, no matter what color they are, they have goodness in their heart, and they can be excellent and making a difference in society. And that's why we need a unified, this is a unified message right now. This is not a one-sided message. This is a unified message. And going forward, that's what my opinion needs to be done. A unified message to send a message that this cannot be tolerated in this country.
Absolutely.
I really want to say this, because we're going to have to continue this conversation even beyond this 1 hour show, because it's going to go more than 1 hour, because I'm really going to give everybody from Brother Toussaint to Sister Amy to Dr. Swanson to Brother Martinez an opportunity really to say what there is on their hearts. I have love for everybody on this panel. Amy, I'm just meeting you, and thank you, Brother Martinez, for inviting her in. Rick Swanson is my brother. Dr. Rick Swanson is my brother from another mother. And at the end of the day, I love him. I love his wife. I love his dogs. One of his dogs passed away. I literally shed a tear when the dog passed away. We're family. We don't see each other as black or white, but we understand the realization that everybody don't think and see things the way we see it. and to hear language like this coming from a sitting judge, a person who can administer jail time to individuals, a person who can administer fines and levies on individuals and their properties, and can put people in a dire situation, is quite appalling. Now, somebody said it already. I see where and let me make sure I'm right with Sister Broussard. She is the state vice president of one of the divisions of the NAACP. Am I correct, Brother Toussaint?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Of Louisiana.
She says that it is already went national. She's correct. I believe tonight it was on MSNBC.
Perfect.
I know it's going to be on CNN. I know it already made the Shade Room. I know there's national publications on the internet that have already released this, saying shame, shame, shame on you, that all of a sudden now you're asking for forgiveness, and you're asking for people to understand. Now, let me be very honest. Do I understand that you were quite upset about your property being broken into in an attempt of somebody stealing what you have worked hard for? I completely understand that. And in your same situation, I probably would have said some very raw, curse, and vulgar words myself, but I would not have came to the point of racial slurs, because you are a judge and you are held to a higher standard. Because it is always told to me by my mother, grandmother, my father, and my grandfather, that when people are drunk and mad, that's when the truth comes out, and what's in the heart spews from out the mouth. So this ain't something that you just all of a sudden let loose on this one person.
No, this was celebratory.
Right. Yeah. So I'm saying, because I've asked everybody what they feel like Judge Odinette needs to do. I'm going now to put on the record what I feel like Judge Odinette needs to do. And she needs to graciously step down and say, I'm sorry this happened, but I have not in any shape, form, or fashion earned the trust of the community that I need to pass judgment on from a seat of a judge because of what has occurred, that people will really feel I did it fairly and impartially, and not have any stigmas in my mind about the individuals that I am now passing judgment on. Brother Fatin.
I think you summed it up very, very well right there. That we've all said it tonight. I think that the ball's in the judge's corner now. We said everything that needs to be said. This is not rocket science. We don't need to go around like a hamster on in a spinning wheel in a cage. We said what needed to be said. I just saw a message from one of our viewers, Tara Fogelman, saying, I'm just reading a response from the judge saying she's now saying her son has a drug issue, trying to change the narrative. See, that's what I'm saying. You're playing with folks here. You're trying to save your position and your job. You need to resign. And if not, then we need to put enough pressure on her that she cannot do her job and that she needs to be removed from the bench. Straight up.
Okay, so here's how I'm going to do this. I like for each one of my guests to have some final word. I will start with the president of the NAACP, Brother Michael Toussaint. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate being here. I'm sorry, but every time you played that video, it angered me even more than the time before. Because to hear them laughing and making a mockery of that individual and using the derogatory language that they were using. And I mean, I know they used, I'm not even going to say that, because as the brother said, Fatin said, if we continue to use, if our people continue to use the word, then we even have to fight harder to diffuse it. So I'm going to start by not even using it in this conversation anymore. But when they use the N word, but when she said roach, that even hurt me more to a degree than them saying the N word, because a roach is an insect. a pestilent. So to be considered low as a pestilent, and we are human beings, man, that is horrible. And for a person that is a judge that dictates the outcome of people's lives, and she considers them lower than a human being as to an insect, has no place on the bench. She has no place in the judicial system. And she was entrusted to be able to be impartial to the people that she serves. People make mistakes, people do things wrong in life. None of us that are on this panel or anywhere else have all made mistakes, but we're still human beings, and we deserve to be treated with respect. And that is so disrespectful. And for her to come back and try to make some halfway excuse as to why, yeah, she was under the influence of probably alcohol, and that's why they were in there laughing and cutting up and making those type of remarks. And you know what I thought of as well, somebody didn't like what she was saying because they released the video. So what does that say about the circle that she's keeping, because somebody released that video in her circle? So I just say I will just piggyback on what everyone else feels. She needs to be removed, and she needs to be removed or step down immediately.
Thank you, Brother Trusan. Next, I will bring up Sister Amy Robinson. Any final closing words for us?
Look, first, I want to really thank you for thinking of me to have on the panel this evening. It's really an honor to be here and share my thoughts with you. I want to say that when I watched that video, anger is one of many emotions that I feel, but I'm not the recipient of those horrible things. So, and I'll never be the recipient of those horrible things. So the anger is not mine to feel, but what it does is it hurts my heart every time I listen to it, because I can't imagine feeling that way about another human being because of something that they can't help, like their color. And I just wasn't raised that way. And I thank God every day that my parents did not raise me that way, to be so hateful and then to turn around and teach it to a younger generation, because that's where it ends. We will never stop this if we don't stop teaching it to our children. And so if she felt that way in her heart, the one thing that she could have done was stop teaching it to your children, but she couldn't do that. And I also, one thing that I don't know if we brought up at all that was a little alarming to me was the excitement over the guns, but we don't have to bring that up. I listened to that, and that was very scary to me.
I'm going to do another show.
That was a little scary.
To talk a little more.
But the last thing I want to say is that she's throwing lots of things under the bus here, but my husband and I spent this afternoon in drug court with our son, because that's where he's at every Tuesday. And she needs to think of another one, because just because your kid might be struggling with something, that's not an excuse for any of this. So I'm going to just tell her, I'm going to punt that right back to you and let you come up with something else, Ms. Odenay, because that is not right.
Right.
Well, thank you, Ms. Robinson.
Hey, Joe, real quick. But as we go to our next guest, I just want to read her statement again, Judge Odenette. She says, "I was given a sedative at the time of the video. I have zero recollection of the video and the disturbing language used during it. Anyone who knows me and my husband knows this is contrary to the way we live our lives. I am deeply sorry and ask for your forgiveness and understanding as my family and I deal with the emotional aftermath of this armed burglary."
Okay. I'm not even okay. Let me jump in this right here before I bring in the next guest. First of all, it wasn't an armed burglary. The assailant was not armed. Okay, so let's not all of a sudden make this black man a boogeyman, because Was it wrong what he did? Absolutely. You haven't heard me say one time I uphold what this man did, because he was absolutely wrong. But he not the boogeyman. He not 7 feet 6 inches tall, 345 pounds, and looked like John Coffey and got everybody scared. Hell to the no with that. Next, before I go deeper, Brother Ravis Martinez, some closing words, because that just got me hot. So, Brother Martinez.
That's why I read it, because folks need to hear what she's saying, because she's trying to play us like a fiddle.
And there's a lot from the Roseanne Barr defense to, you know, the throwing under the bus. And Joe, you know, first I want to say thank you and Brother Fatima. I mean, excellent show. Appreciate the guests, Mike, Joe, Mike, Rick, and Amy. You guys, appreciate the work you do in the community, and more importantly, I appreciate your heart, because that's what I heard tonight. Mm-hmm. Like Brother Fatima said, this is nothing scripted. This is a unified message. That's a very serious thing that we need to rid our community of. In order for us to do that, we need to stay unified. We need to ensure that we're working together to make this happen. I said it. I filled out a report. I emailed that thing last night for the commission to look at this, but more importantly, to take action. We want her to resign. We need her to resign. That would be the easiest thing. Yet, the actions that we're seeing now in these statements give the appearance that that's not what's going to happen. And so I'm happy that first the local pressure and the local leaders did step up and step out again, from our state senator, from our state representative, even to our mayor president. I think also made a statement, and then also our city marshal, who was the first elected African-American citywide in Lafayette, and whose court and whose job is to protect the city court judges and the property, and to be responsible to that. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, I think that might have been me, Reyes. Sorry.
And to be responsible to that. So in closing, Joe, I just want to say that, you know, my prayers and my hopes is that the judge does the right thing, that she searches her heart and knows that it's important for the community to start a healing process, that she remove herself from the equation. We don't need this as a community to blow up again, because we've been in the national spotlight for numerous things recently, and we're still there. So I'm hoping that people are reaching out. If she's not really looking to move out of the seat, that, you know, calmer minds, more folks that are calculating on a different level are giving her good counsel to move on and move out of the position. So again, I'm asking that she resign. I'm hoping that as a community, we stay unified on this message and we work together to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you,
Hey, Joe.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, Joe, I got to jump off, but I know Dr. Swanson has to make his final thoughts.
Right.
But I would like Dr. Swanson, if he knows this, and if he doesn't, if he can get this information back to us, if she resigns or if removed from the bench, what does she lose? Does she lose her pension, even though she hasn't been in this position for a long period of time? The bottom line, there may be a built-in pension there as a judge sitting on the bench. And the question is, what penalty, even if she steps down as a judge, there needs to be more ramifications. She should not get her pension, and she should not be able to walk away with anything as a judge. I just don't know what the law is, and hopefully Dr. Swanson could, address that also with his final thoughts. Okay, but I want to wish everybody happy holidays, and thank you all for joining. I have to jump on another show, but Joe will carry it from here. All right, everybody. Again,
all right.
Thank you.
Take care, Brother Fatim.
Okay,
love you, Brother Fatim.
Love you.
Peace, brother.
Peace.
So Dr. Swanson, your final words and thoughts on this, sir.
Yeah, first, thanks for having me on the show again. It's always an honor. Second, to answer Brother Fatim's question, there's nothing in the law that I read where it automatically says that you lose a pension or anything. the things that the Judiciary Commission can do is censure, suspend with or without salary, remove from office, or retire involuntarily. There's nothing in there that I read where it means that automatically you're stripped of, any partial pension that you've accrued. But she hasn't been in there very long, so she wouldn't have much of a pension, if any, that's accrued yet.
Right.
But there's a lot of other things I could say. Obviously, we all agree that it's appalling and she needs to resign. But I think that her responses have even dug her hole deeper.
Yes.
If she doesn't resign and I am on the Judiciary Commission, she's tried to deflect and play the victim. She's tried to blame her son, which I don't even understand the relevance of that to this issue. She has this unbelievable story that a sedative that normally just makes you drowsy suddenly made her into a racist, or it made her not object to
Made the whole family racist.
Yeah. And it made her not object to racism in her family. Mm-hmm. And let me point this out too. I haven't seen this in any of the news reports. So in her statement where she claims, and Joe, you brought this out, she claimed it's armed robbery, but the police said there was no indication that there was any weapon, that it was burglary, not armed robbery. So this is her, if that's the case, then she's made a false public statement that is possibly defamatory to that defendant. And if she's making a false public statement as a judge, that would be yet another violation of the Code of Judicial Ethics. And her responses are just, again, digging her hole deeper.
So I really appreciate you, all of you. I'm going to play this one more time because I don't think you can. You have to understand. And I made a statement, and somebody got very upset with me. And last night I didn't get to sleep until late in the night because my phone was ringing and people were talking to me. But here's what you really have to understand. I understand that there are some people who are not the same color I am. That when I am not around, though when I am around, I'm the best thing since sliced bread. I'm their boy. I'm the reason why they can never be prejudiced. But as soon as I disappear, some, all of a sudden, when they're around other folk, got to roll in with the crew and say, these ends that, these ends that, this, that, these, and those to sound cool. Because I'll be very honest with you, at the beginning of the video, I kind of chuckled because I said, whoever the young man is, he trying to sound like he a gangster. He rolling up like he Tony Soprano. I said, oh, I'm rolling up in the whip. I'm like, you probably the dude, if somebody walk up to you and say, boo, you going to be the first one. Hey, man, call 911. These dudes over here messing with me. So here's the sad thing about it. The sad thing about it that after you take all the layers of everything that we've spoken about tonight away, there are individuals out there that feel like they are superior, that feel like that folks that aren't the same color they are not as humane. Listen to what I just said. It's not as much human as they are. Because when you call a person a nigger or a roach or a monkey, or you try to in any way degrade them to the point that they're not human, that they're subhuman, that means you're superior. And that's sad because we are all created equal. And it's sad to me that you would even walk yourself into a place of holiness and try to make it seem like that we all worshiping the same God, because eventually we not. So I'm going to play this one more time. I really appreciate everybody for getting on, but I want y'all to hear this one more time and just say to yourself, when is enough enough? When are we finally going to say, this is the time that we really bring about the real change, that this stops forever? Here's the video.
Oh, shit.
Watch.
Mom goes, why are the lights to your
When I
truck
pull
on?"
up in the whip, they be saying, God damn.
Why are your lights on? They're like, pull up.
And mom's yelling,
No, Henry, have a nigger. It's a nigger. Like a roach.
look, that's me.
No, that's
I came from the backside.
Look, he tips over the
He trips twice. He trips twice.
I was the only one running.
That's me. Kenny was standing. I'm the one that took him down. Kenny's just standing there.
He lied. That was his wallet.
Yeah. That's my phone where it fell out.
Look, Mom. The dude had a phone on him. He should have taken his phone and stolen from him, that fucking asshole.
And now I'm going to grab a gun.
Go and get the gun.
It's important. Very important.
As me and Austin maintain control of the situation.
The great thing is we've got video. We've got fuck. Look, they're with the car. Wait, look. There's
And look, there comes
there's
Rebel.
Rebel. What a play bitch. Rebel is supposed to like this. Is
Oh,
So, family, I'm going to close out with this. And I want you to hear my heart. First of all, thank you to everyone that came on. Ravis Martinez, Dr. Rick Swanson, Amy Robinson, Michael Toussaint. Thank you all for coming on. Here's my heart. We are not niggas. Period. Period. And if you feel that we are, you really need help. We as a people, as my brother Fatim said at the beginning, we ourselves as people of color need to stop using that terminology. We need to stop addressing each other in that manner. We need to wake up. I thank you all for being a part of this. We will continue the conversation. God bless and good night.
Thank you, Joe.